But we got to put this in context, in my humble opinion. And that is, we got to put this is a long time in the making. There's been a tremendous backlog who are waiting for green cards to reunite with their families. There's nothing new about that. That has been in train for the last decade or longer. And the reason why that's important is that it's now incredibly complicated by this surge of 150% surge, by the way. There were 20-some thousand the year before. In the first 6 months, you got 56,000. So what's happened? What's happened? And by the way, I have spent, like a lot of you, particularly the advocates in the room, an awful lot of time looking in detail at where each of these kids come from, the neighborhood they come from, the country they come from, the rate of violence in those neighborhoods. And guess what? It's bad, but nothing's changed. Nothing's changed in 6 months or a year. The neighborhoods are no more violent or no less violent. They're really bad, those neighborhoods. But the idea is somehow there was a massive new wave. What's happened is that a group of folks got together and decided that there's a hell of a good way to make money. You just don't transfer drugs. Give me $5,600 and I'll take your baby to the border. And your baby's going to be home free. And that is at least a significant part, no matter how many of you. The reason I said what I said in the front end is to show my credentials. I care as much about this as all of you who think you care and know more. But something has happened beyond the fact that there's utter despair. That despair existed a year ago and 18 months ago. And so what you do is, you know, give me your child, these coyotes, making a hell of a lot of money. They're the same people, you know, they're sending the kid up and smuggling guns back, you know. They're, moving drugs. I mean, this been around for a while, except there's a new business model out there now, a more enhanced business model. And so we're in a situation now where, because of an awful lot of false information, a bad problem, a serious problem, the one that already existed, has been exacerbated. And let's assume Biden's wrong about this. Let's assume there's no difference. It's just because things have gotten more violent. It's just because things at home in Honduras and Guatemala and Salvador have gotten worse. Let's assume that. Let me say I posit that position. It doesn't change the end result. The end result is there's an awful lot of kids who need help, and they need representation. And, and you can understand why people are so desperate to send their children or their niece or nephew or their grandchild or whomever, their blood relative, to put them in the hands of unscrupulous people.